right, we've been working on looking at some of the teachings that Jesus presented when he first began working with his people and how they might have heard the messages. And just as we've been going through the last few weeks, you can see that the message they would have heard is slightly different than what we've inherited. Yes? Yep. They would have heard it's joyful, it's wonderful, it's not restriction, it's not limitation. It's yes, it's time to move to a higher realm. That's what they all would have heard. So I wanted to take us into what Jesus said to them about brotherhood, and then let's explore it a little bit. Okay? When you consider the day and time, these were we will call them the Jewish people. They were being governed by Rome. They had many limitations and restrictions on them. And because of their need to survive as a group, there was a lot of teachings that they had inherited that isolated them. You know, it was frowned upon to intermarry. It was frowned upon to entertain even looking at somebody else's belief system. You understand? They were quite isolated. And that was how they dealt with being oppressed in their time. So here comes Jesus with this new message that the time of God is here. And he leads with also explaining to them that God loves everybody. And this is kind of a shock to their system. So I wanted to start with a story that's familiar with you guys, and I just want to hit some of the highlights. This is when he was going through Samaria, and he met the woman at the well. Everybody knows that story. Woman at the well. Okay. And you may not know that the Jewish people do not get along with the Samaritans, because the Samaritans were partially Jewish, partially of that heritage, and they had married the Assyrians, or partially of the children of Israel's DNA. They had married Assyrians and local people, become a slightly different integration, therefore they were frowned upon, because they did not stay pure. Got it? Okay. So when Jesus approaches this woman at the well, she comes and he says, would you give me a drink? And she said, you missed something here. I'm Samaritan, you're Jewish, you're not supposed to talk to me. A, she's a woman, he's not supposed to talk to her, and B, she's of an inferior race. And this is when he begins to teach her. And he says to her, in holy breath, there is no Greek, no Jew, and no Samaritan, no bond and no free, for all are one. Our God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. And I think this shocked her just a little bit. But they went on to talk, and he shared his enlightenment to her, and she was able to receive it. And then his disciples came, and again they said to him, excuse me, what are you doing? She's a Samaritan. Why are you, A, talking to a female, and B, talking to a Samaritan? Because this is new to them. It's the beginning stages. They haven't walked with him for all these years yet. So he says to them, my Father who sent me forth always feeds me. The Christ is universal, but Christ belongs to every man. God scatters forth his blessings with a lavish hand, and he is not more kind to one than to another, all of the creatures of his hand. I just came up from Judah's hills, and God's same love was shining, and his flowers were blossoming, and in the night his stars were just as bright as they are here. God cannot cast a child away. The Jew, the Greek, the Samaritan are equal in his sight. Why should men and women fret and quarrel like children in their play? The lines that separate the sons of men are made of straw, and just a simple breath of love would blow them all away. So everybody breathe. When we start really looking at the idea of brotherhood, Jesus shows us a very clear picture. Everyone is child of God. Everyone is child of God. And you can have ill will toward one another, but when you move to love, doesn't that ill will just melt? Aren't we all seeking to have a greater relationship with love and God and our Creator? But we come through our individual heritages, don't we? We come through our cultural conditioning. Even in America, side-by-side houses, different cultural conditioning. Because we're dealing with our family group, our family dynamic. But one breath of love melts all the separation from us. How are we doing with brotherhood, do you think? In his Sermon on the Mount, which was one of the first major lessons that he said, that he gave to the people. He says this: "Remember, you are the children of God, who makes his sun to rise alike upon the evil and the good, who sends his rain upon the just and the unjust. If you do unto other men as they do unto you, you are following, and you are slaves. But you as children of God must lead the way. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you salute your friends and not your foes, you are like other men. The publicans have set the pace. Be perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." And in the Aramaic translation of that original word, it is inclusive. Be inclusive, even as your Father in heaven is inclusive. Sounds so easy, doesn't it, Brotherhood? Can't you just now take a moment, feel the love in your heart, and send love to every single human being that walks this planet? We can do that, can we not? Let's just do it right now. Take a breath and send love to every human being that walks this planet. And can you feel just a peace moving up from within you?
Yes.
All right, okay. You can open your eyes. The reason I ask that we sing Namaskar, our song this morning, and Living Proof, to get us aware that when we are in our sense of divinity, it's easy to see the divine in another. You know, you'll hear the word namaste. The Christ in me greets the Christ in you. The Christ in me, the divinity within me, beholds and honors the divinity within you. It's so easy to do, isn't it? In that moment. You are God's child, and you are recognizing in another person that they're God's child. And as God's child, I have freedom and choice. I'm God's child. I get to create my world. I get to do what I want to do. I have freedom and choice. I behold the Christ in you. You have freedom and choice. Do what you want to do. But I don't got to play with you. Do you hear what I'm saying? We can behold the Christ in one another, and we can feel that honoring of their spirit. But does that bring us into brotherhood? Where is the love? How about Christ in you? Hello, Christ in me. Okay, great. See ya later. And we go on our separate paths. All of us in the big world that we just connected with have a place, do we not? We have a place in that. In our world of brotherhood, we should also feel brotherhood around us. Because in the big world where we send love to all the beings of light, all the children of God, we don't judge what they're choosing, do we? We don't send out our thoughts and say, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. We just say, everybody, we know you're a child of God. We honor that in you. We have no opinion of their lives. But does it connect us in brotherhood? The love connects us in brotherhood. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You are taught in our world to lead with your strengths. Lead with your strengths and yield when you have none. Okay? And that's how we work with one another. I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. Everybody get out of my way. And if you don't agree with me, go on. And if you do, yield. Get behind me. Because I'm good at this. And if you're good at that, I will yield to you. When I helped the music program out, do you think I came in and told them what was that? The answer's no. I came in and said, what note do you want me to hit? And I'll do the best I can, you know? Because I don't lead in that. Can you feel this? When I am in the Christ in me, there's this beautiful, specific vibration of love that I am. And I have beautiful, wonderful gifts that I give to the world. And I want that to happen, don't I? And when I'm going to lead in something, don't I cue you? If I'm having a meeting or talking with Patrick or talking with anybody, I say to them, if I'm leading, you know, I'm really feeling like I want to do this. What am I asking you to say? Oh, of course, I'm going to agree with you and support you or get out of your way because I really feel you are leading. Do you hear me? If I am wanting to yield, I will say, well, you know, I have no opinion. What is your guidance? You lead on this. This is your thing. And I've taken the support role. We're familiar with this, are we not? This is where we live. All right. I want us to get really clear. about leading and following. It's a way to work, but it is not the way to create brotherhood. You lead with your strengths, you yield to the leader. We all do this. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. So I'll give you a little example. So I want everybody on board with me. We moved into a house, I guess 13 years ago. And we moved into, Patrick and I moved into a home, and I particularly did not care for the railings in the stairwell. I said, oh, let's replace the railings. Oh, no, I love the railings. No, let's replace the railings. No, I love the railings. Okay, he won. You know the thing about pick your battles? You pick your battles. I have other things that I want more important than railings. I can deal with it, I can deal with it. I woke up one morning 10 years later, and it was, I don't know if it was a divine idea, it came from meditation or whatever, but it was like, I was so crystal clear. And I went to Patrick, I said, Patrick, honey, guess what? You've had those railings for 10 years. It's my turn. I'm getting the railings I want. He looked at me with quite bewilderment and said, okay, what can you say? What can you say? It was my turn. And I said, and if you don't like it in 10 years, we'll go back. I am so open to sharing here. But I want you to hear what we're doing. We're negotiating, and we're going back and forth with this beautiful power. So it sets up an energy of cooperation and a type of harmony, but really is a brotherhood. Sometimes one of the most difficult things when I do counseling with couples is people tend to move into leadership in a couple relationship because they need to, because the other person doesn't know what's up. And when they pull into leadership, they're pulling rank where they have no rank. Couples, male, female, or a couple, any kind of couple, equal co-created people. There's no rank here. I don't care who's bringing income in. There's no rank. So, someone will say, no, this has to be my way and you must submit. And then I will actually hear them tell me, ew, I'm going to live to regret this. Because they know the person that just submitted is going, we'll save that for another day. And that will be the ammunition for a future fight. And I am going to clobber you. Because you pulled rank on me. Not because I agreed or disagreed, but because you thought you had more rank than I had. You challenged my empowerment. Not going to happen. Do you see? And it feels like we're finding harmony, but we're really not. So that's how we live in coupleship. Do y'all understand that? Yeah. Okay, that's what we do. Okay, breathe in.
Twice divorced, yep, got that.
What would it look like if we were truly empowered and truly living in brotherhood with our spouse? Here's the thing, we can't have brotherhood on the planet unless we have brotherhood in our lives, unless we have brotherhood within ourselves. Unless I trust that my brother is equally as powerful to live his life Christ-guided as I am. Equally as powerful to live his life Christ-guided. So it would look like, I behold the Christ in you. When I behold the Christ in you, first I got to behold the Christ in me. I behold the Christ in me, God in me. Who's in charge? God. I'm going to my spirit. I'm going to love. I behold the Christ in me. I behold the Christ in you. Now I'm looking at their Christ. I behold the Christ in me. I behold the Christ in you. Now we are equally empowered. Now let's talk about what we might choose to do. Shall we try this? And then we can go like this. You know, when God's in charge, God doesn't tell two people different things. Do you understand? You go, oh, you know, I was thinking, what, me too. Wow, me too. Have you seen it click like that, popcorning, when you're both channeling the same thing? It's this beautiful symmetry, and who is in charge? And who pulls rank? And who lives to regret it? Nobody. When we can walk totally empowered with our partners, with people in our world, totally empowered with people in our world. Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay. That begins the energy of brotherhood. That begins the energy of brotherhood. Everybody take a breath. I do counsel my couples, and I'll say, okay, this is you guys, this is you in charge, and this is you in charge. Can we try this, just for a minute? And they go, rah, 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 rah. And I'll assign them a task. Try this with one task. Just be equal with one task and see what happens. And it takes probably arguing, fighting, getting all the hidden agendas out before they can finally say, okay, I give, I yield to God. All right, what is it going to look like? Because I need to trust God, not you. If I'm in brotherhood, I'm trusting God. I'm not trusting my life with you. I'm trusting God and the God in you. And we come to this. And then we become co-creative. Is everybody hearing this?
Okay.
And I give this in the spousal example because that's the nearest and dearest to us. We've all experienced the other that I spoke of. You do the same in work. You can do the same in work. Remember, you cue people when you want them to agree with you. I'm leading now. This is my idea. Everybody go, yes, Cindy. And then everybody knows what I'm leading, and I want you to say, yes, Cindy, and you will. But you do the same thing. You cue people when you're leading, and it's okay to lead. You cue people when you're yielding, and it's okay to yield. But we have to learn this as well. Brotherhood. Got it? Okay. Can everybody think of some way you might try doing that in your world? I won't check your notes as you leave the church today. Be thinking. Be thinking. All right. In brotherhood, we are all empowered simultaneously. In brotherhood, we are all empowered. So I wanted to give you the other aspect of brotherhood that tends to trip us up. When we deal with Jesus' story, and we deal with the 12 disciples, do you not think they were locked in brotherhood? Do you not think those 12 guys, the 12 main dudes, he had hundreds of people following him. Do you not think those 12 dudes felt, we got connection here? We're following God. God in me is getting ready to act. God in them. They worked as a team. When they really, really felt the brotherhood was when they all went out and they all did the service work. Remember, he sent them out by twos and they healed and they taught? Then they all came back and they all felt that brotherhood expand exponentially because they had all done the same thing. They felt the same fears. They felt the same conquest is not the right word. Achievements. They saw Spirit move. So now they're all united at this beautiful pattern because they have been empowered and they can share that empowerment together. Can you just feel that beautiful energy? Okay. So right at the end of Jesus' journey, right before he goes to Gethsemane, I don't even know if he's in Jerusalem yet or not, but we know James and John, they were the inner circle of Peter, James, and John. James and John's mother, who we all love dearly, went to Jesus and said, okay, Jesus, time's getting short. We know something's happening. We know the plan. Would you please put James and John on either side of you in the throne when it's all said and done? Y'all remember that? Good mother. Pulling for her kids. And Jesus doesn't really say anything. But the 10 disciples get all ticked off. And you know what they say? They say, how dare they? How dare they think they're better than us? How dare they go out and teach the truth and then let their mother, they didn't even do it, let their mother approach you with this proposition. Who can we trust if we can't trust them? And I'm not over-exaggerating either. This is what they said. Who can we trust? Who can we trust? They were your inner circle, and now they're behaving this way. So we go from this beautiful energy of brotherhood and all connected, and because two people are involved now in an issue, we turn the love off. How often do you do that to a friend? They say one thing to you that you cannot process in that time, and they are gone out of your world. Done. People will divorce based on one moment. And that one moment shifts their perception, and now that partner who they used to love is now the enemy. Because of one thing. And then it shifts and builds. Do you see? You know what Jesus did? He didn't go talk to James and John. They were in a moment. They had to process this themselves. But he turned and he grabbed the 10 and he said, "Come on, boys." Pulled them all aside and he said to them, "These two obviously don't understand the kingdom of God yet. Can you give them some space to learn?" He said, "They don't understand that he who serves is the greatest. He who humbles his heart and serves God is the greatest. It's not about an outward throne. It's not about being elevated. It is about being loved." So he takes those 10 and he reminds them what they know is true. Now where is their eye? Well, it's on their path now. I had been looking at them, and I'm mad at them because they're not doing what I want them to do. The minute we take our eye off of who we are and try to understand what our brother might be going through and judge or blame them because it's not our way, we cut the love, we cut the brotherhood, we cut the hope, we cut the communication, we cut the forgiveness. We cut it. What harm your brother's learning, how much harm can you bring into you if you just love them? Interesting, you guys want to have that experience? That's great. I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to stay with Jesus. I'm going to say, okay, the kingdom of God is within me. Everything you taught me, God is within. I'm going to humble my heart. It's not about the throne. It's not about the color of clothes I wear. It's not about wealth. It is about following the path I chose. And they chose to be disciples. You see? This is the one thing that triggers most brotherhood into failure. When someone has a personal experience that we don't understand, and they might snap at us. Do you ever get snapped at? And if you cut off everybody that snaps at you, how many people are going to be in your world? Brotherhood is about honoring the Christ in you, the love in you, the empowerment of God in me, God in you, and letting it move into the world to find the perfect expression of who I am, the perfect time to yield who I am, the perfect time to lead who I am, and the perfect time to mesh who I am. Flowing, but never leaving who I am. Never leaving who I am. If you ever feel diminished, stop. You've just stepped off your path. If you diminish yourself for the sake of brotherhood, stop. You're out of brotherhood. Brotherhood has to be governed by love. It has to be governed by connection. You know? If you ever want to create with someone trying this equal co-creative thing, be upfront about it. They won't know that's your program. They're so programmed to yield or lead. Tell them, let's try something new. Let's try equal. Let's popcorn till we get it. We're both equal. No one's in charge. We're just going to work on this thing. We're going to see what happens. Do you hear? Brotherhood on our planet will happen when we have brotherhood in our homes, which will happen when we have that beautiful sense of brotherhood in our hearts. And the heart brotherhood comes from knowing our oneness with God, with the beautiful energy of God love. We feel it, don't we, when we feel those moments when there is no separation between us and God, Creator. It doesn't matter how many angels are with us, how many people we know on the other side. We are one with all, and it feels fabulous. Then we open our eyes, we get about our business, and then we're not one with all anymore. The idea to hold that oneness within us. All right, well, let's go within. Put your feet on the floor. God, I ask that your love just enfold everyone here. And that we've been doing a lot of talking. I would ask that your energy now, each one of you, that you just become aware of your own heart. And just imagine a color in your heart. And in your mind's eye, just see a beautiful path beginning to open in the middle of that color. And just feel that you want to go within. Image it in, imagine it in, pretend it in. See yourself or feel yourself walking down that path. Moving through layers of energy, moving through visuals, doesn't matter, just keep going. Until you find yourself moving into an open space where you can see, sense, feel that beautiful vibration of your own divinity. You may get a visual of an open field. You may see something that means something to you. Whatever comes to you now is perfect, and it has the energy of your divinity. Feel it and touch it. Let it engulf all of your senses for a moment. And feel that deep desire within you to share this divinity on planet Earth. In this moment, you feel so complete and whole. From this space to the outer demonstration does not have to be long, and it can be effortless. And you can choose now. Choose to share your divinity with the world. Choose to just sit in it for another second. But notice whatever choice you make, your heart expands. You are a child of God. This inner truth never diminishes. Those that are ready to share, take a deep breath and let this beautiful vibration pour out through the auric field, and just feel it goes out into your world, touching every detail and aspect. Those of you that are just holding the energy, just feel that you hold it so gently and easily so that it can grow and you can nurture it until you are ready. Whatever step you take is perfect. And now let us remember that beautiful energy of our Father, Mother God. God, I ask that each one here feel that beautiful expanded consciousness. That they are always with you. Always a part of your heart. And take a breath, very gently allow your focus to come back to your body. Just gently making your way back, making your way back down the path. Feel the physical chair that holds you. Put your feet on the floor. Feel that you are good. I am good. Father, Mother God, bless these children. Children of God. With your light. And so it is. Take a breath. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Doing good?
Yes.
Did you feel your light going out? Did you feel your light? Yes. Okay. Very important. We are all children of God. Next month, we start a series of joy. We're going to experience joy every single Sunday. So there. For today, though, I would ask that before you leave this building, challenge, go to someone you don't know well, and see the Christ in them, and feel the love melt your differences away. Can we do that? Good, good. Those of you that didn't say yes, they're going to be coming too. Yeah, God.